Today's episode is brought to you by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Calling all foodies, Bush's is hiring. Are you passionate about food, looking for growth, development, and excellent wages? Come grow with Bush's and apply online at bushes.com/join our team. That's Bush's, BUSCHS.com/join our team.
From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Emma Stein with today's Free Press Voice Briefing. It's Wednesday, July 20th, 2022. U.S. Representatives Rashida Tlaib and Andy Levin were arrested at a protest outside the Supreme Court on Tuesday. Tlaib, who represents Detroit, and Levin, who represents Bloomfield Township, were among a group of Democrats who sat down in the street outside the court in protest of last month's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Levin was charged with crowding, obstructing, or incommoding, which is a misdemeanor. Both were released shortly after their arrests. In a statement, Tlaib said, quote, "Civil disobedience has always been part of our history and fight for change. This moment and the fight for women's and reproductive rights calls for it." Here's reporter Christine McDonald with updates on flood claims from last year's record-breaking storms.
The Great Lakes Water Authority announced Tuesday that they are denying nearly 24,000 claims from last year's summer floods. Officials say it's because an independent review found that backups were inevitable, even with the known electrical problems at two east side pumping stations. The rain, between 6 to 8 inches in some areas, was the primary cause, the experts found. And under Michigan law, the city or the regional water authority can only be held responsible if there's a defect, one that it knew about or should have known about, and that it didn't fix, and if that defect was 50% or more at fault for the flooding. This likely isn't the end of the story, though. There are more than a dozen lawsuits that Greenway faces with thousands of flood victims participating.
A car plowed through the front of the Red Hook coffee shop in Detroit last week. A picture of the crash shows the car hitting the back wall of the shop, broken glass everywhere, an upside-down espresso machine, and dishes in disarray. Both the driver and everyone inside are okay, but the coffee shop suffered extensive damage. The popular cafe was about to celebrate its 1-year anniversary at this location, which will now have to be postponed. Red Hook has 2 other locations, one in Detroit's West Village and one in Ferndale. An owner said their plan is to rebuild, even though it will likely take a long time.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, directing your attention to our poll that's trying to tackle a question about the future. With Detroit teams in a perpetual rebuild, and now with each of those teams now completing this year's drafts, we're asking you to vote for which recent first-round draft pick will be the next big thing in Detroit. The Lions, of course, have 2 guys to choose from, Aiden Hutchinson and Jamison Williams. The Pistons are in that same boat after drafting Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren. The Red Wings added forward Marco Casper last month, and a few days ago, the Tigers picked up infielder Jace Young. So, which of these guys will be a surefire star? Visit our story on freep.com and make your vote count. One thing's for sure, it would definitely help in some of these rebuilds if these guys turn out to be the next superstars in their respective sports.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. I'll see you tomorrow.